It's 6:30 on a Friday evening. I'm Adam and welcome along to the Brighton and Hove Hope Exchange. So I'm from Ambigo and you can see that in the top right-hand corner of your screen. So Ambigo is all about bringing people together to exchange support for their personal goals, ideas and ambitions. And that's exactly what we're going to do this evening. So we've got several people lined up who are going to come on and they're going to tell us all about some kind of idea they've got or some kind of aim in life at the moment or whatever it is that they want to do. So they're going to tell us about it. They're going to tell us why it's important to them and what they need help with. And that's where you come into it. So they're going to share with you things that would help them to achieve their particular goal. And then it's up to us and you to actually get in touch and say, I know how that person could take the next step to what it is they want to do. Or maybe I know somebody who could help that person. I could maybe offer some information, contacts, advice, or maybe some other kind of support. Or maybe you yourself would like to join them on the journey of their particular goal or ambition. So I'll be chatting to some people, as will the man over in our five-way studio, Andy Jeng. Andy.
That's the first time you've ever introduced it as the five-way studio. Hi, coming to you live from the deepest, darkest heart of Brighton. And there's not much I can add to what Adam has said. It's going to be a lovely evening, and please do kind of contact us with any comments that you might have, and we'll see whether we can connect everybody up in the way that we would like to, really sort of get some help out there for people's ambitions, your dreams, your projects, your tasks, stuff that you'd like to do, especially if it improves the quality of your life. And actually, we might make a few friends on the way. So, Adam, are you actually there?
Always here, always ready and waiting. So let me tell you about the different ways that you can get in touch. If you listen to somebody here tonight and you think, I actually could help them, then this is how you do it. Then you either contact us by just writing a very simple comment under the Facebook Live video that you're watching or on YouTube, or you can actually join us in this video broadcast yourself. So in the text that accompanies the video, you'll see a link. If you click on that link, you'll appear at the bottom of my screen and we can add you into the call. Or you can get in touch with the wonderful Agatha, who's waiting for your messages on the WhatsApp. So you'll see the number right there at the bottom of your screen. It'll come back round again, don't worry. So that's where you need to go if you want to offer some kind of help to somebody else. Alternatively, you might be thinking, actually, I've got a personal goal or ambition that I would like to share. So in this time of coronavirus lockdown, a lot of us are thinking, well, what direction should I go in next? You know, I think we all know quite a few people who might have either lost their jobs or they've been furloughed, and they're starting to think about other things they could be doing or might want to do. So if that sounds like you, then get in touch and maybe we might have a bit of time later on to allow you to share what your particular goal is. So we've got several people already lined up who are ready and waiting to share their goals, ideas and ambitions this evening. So let's get straight into the first one, shall we, Andy?
Yes, let's.
And it's somebody called Alice. Hello, Alice. Good evening. How are you?
Hello. I wasn't expecting to be first. Hi.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I'm not too bad. How are you guys?
I'm very good. You, Andy?
Yeah, good, thank you. I got to admit, I was a little surprised to see you, Alice. I was expecting Judy, but...
Somebody's phoning me now, and it's probably somebody going, I'm trying to get into the broadcast. I can't know. I'll try and ring them back in a minute.
The joys of live broadcasting, huh?
That's exactly right.
How dare we? That's the problem. Okay, well, Alice, you're very, very welcome, nevertheless.
Well, let's get stuck into it then. So, Alice, tell us all about what your goal, idea, or ambition is.
Okay, so I run a community initiative called BelongCon, which is short for the Belong Conversation. And I started it 3 years ago as an event in Brighton. And the idea behind it is that we create through an event, we create a space for people to find and connect with their belonging. So it's hugely important to me because there have been so many times in my life where I haven't felt like I've belonged and I felt on the periphery. And what really changed that for me was hearing stories from people who had felt a similar way or had had similar experiences. So I wanted to create a space for people to connect with other people that had been through what they'd been through, that had dealt with the same struggles, had the same insecurities, the same fears, to hear those stories. So we started doing that in like a TED style event. And I thought I was doing the event as a one-off, and then immediately everyone was like, when's the next one? When's the next one? And that was 3 years ago. And now we've had something like 10 or 12 events in Brighton. We've got a podcast, we've got a blog, and all of that is around creating spaces for people to share stories of finding belonging and purpose, and with the goal of helping other people find that same sense of belonging. So in this current environment, we've moved the events online, and a kind of silver lining of it is that I've had a lot of time to think about how I can grow and develop the project and grow. And the reason for being here today is to put that out there and say we are looking for people to help grow BelongCon and drive it forward and reach more people.
Okay, so what kind of things would they do?
So something that would help hugely would be volunteers to support us in managing our community. So that involves things like newsletters, social media, writing for the blog, helping to amplify our messages. We have a Facebook group which was set up after the last general election, called the UK Compassion Party, and that's got 2,500 people in it who just want to help and take action. And I felt so guilty that I haven't been able to find the time to really be there, kind of cultivating and supporting that community. So someone to help us in bringing the community together and managing the community would be absolutely amazing. And also these events, because of my geographical position, have been limited to Brighton, but it would be amazing if someone wanted to take BelongCon and start running these events in another city. Like, the blueprint is there, they'd have so much support. And it would just be amazing to be creating these sorts of spaces for connection and sharing stories all over the UK.
So you're looking to go way out there and spread the impact of this?
Yeah, completely. And I really thought it was just in, the little Brighton bubble, and we were due to have an event on the 7th of April, but given the current circumstances, we moved that online instead, and we kind of changed up the format, made it more interactive. And someone joined from America who was just following us on Instagram, who was like, I just saw an opportunity to connect that I hadn't had before, because what you're doing is over in the UK. So we're already reaching people outside of the UK. And it would just be amazing to be doing much more of that work, both digitally and in events. So yeah, people, volunteers to join the team who are as passionate about this stuff as I am, and Sophie, who's our blog editor, who's also my business partner with another business, and is also part of the BelongCon team as well.
So to give us an idea as to why it's so important to you, can you share an example of the impact? Can you share an example of when somebody has shared something at one of the events, or maybe told you something afterwards, some feedback that has made you think, wow, this is why I do it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so even just this week, our latest, was it our latest one? Yes, our most recent episode of the podcast, I spoke to Fritzerita Tam, who is a vlogger, kind of outdoor adventurer, lives part-time in a van. And we had this conversation around her story and how she transitioned her life to where it is now. And she sent me a message the other day to say that someone had listened to the podcast episode and reached out to her directly to tell her how much of an impact on him sharing her story had made. And that same person then connected with us. You know, I've had people messaging me after podcast episodes just saying, thank you so much for talking about this, for addressing this. Just to hear someone else like repeating my own feelings back to me made such a difference. And, you know, it's the same with the events. Like, people have connected at events who have gone on to work on community projects together because stuff has resonated so much. There's been friendships formed, businesses formed, that it really is just about bringing people together, and that has a real impact on people. Which,
brilliant. What kind of topics do you cover?
Oh, goodness. So as I'm sure you can imagine, a lot of the events and podcasts and blogs have a huge mental health angle. So people sharing stories around, where they have really struggled with their mental health and what's helped them and how they've come through. We've had people talking about some really quite difficult topics like loss and grief, in a way that just really resonates with people in such a beautiful way. People have shared projects that they've created to help people who are homeless. We had someone come in and speak from Parkrun, who's the Sussex regional ambassador for Parkrun, talking about how being part of that community has changed his life. And in his talk, he played like little snippets from the rest of the community. We've had someone come a burlesque performer, talking about kind of embracing her creativity and discovering burlesque. So yeah, so many different topics, but all around the theme of finding this kind of core belonging and core purpose and sense of drive and passion as well. So yeah, it really does impact people, and it's amazing to hear that.
Yeah, and so valuable for everybody that partakes as well. I can really feel that. And so we know that your ambition is to help, to take this further, to get it out there, expand it, and also to get people involved in the team to take on some roles. So there may well be some people watching this now and listening to you and going, this sounds like something I could do. Yeah. What kind of skills do they need to have or experience?
To be honest, none. Like I'm a digital marketing person and I'm a trainer. So if someone just wants to help, any skills that they feel that they're lacking, I can train them up in, and I'd be, more than happy to do that. So really, we're just looking for people who are passionate, who really, attention to detail is good if you're doing any kind of communication work. But really people who are just passionate about the cause, who want to help in some way. And the way in which we, request for support, the way in which I'm asking for support isn't prescriptive. If people hear what I'm saying and they're like, that feels so aligned with what I care about, but I've got this extra idea, like, that's fine too. That's how the blog happened. Sophie came to me and was like, why don't you have a blog? And I was like, I don't know. And then she was like, I'm going to start the blog. And
great.
And then she did. And same with, we met an amazing guy, Elijah, who is our podcast producer. When I met him, he was like, why don't you have a podcast? And I was like, I don't know. And then he was like, I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how we're building our team, really, is people coming to me with ideas. So, I kind of think I know what we need, but really it's just about amplifying and getting the word out there. Even people just joining in the group, following us on social media, amplifying our message makes such a difference.
Yeah. And it's the best way to grow. I know from Ambigo's experience, it's the best way to grow in that when you do get volunteers on board, be open to allowing them and encouraging them to seize the initiative on any ideas they have. The more creative, the better as well. Okay, wonderful. Right. I think that's really clear. So I'm going to hand you over to Andy now, because he's been writing down all of your details about your ambition, and what you need help with. So Andy, how's that gone for you?
Hope I wasn't talking to you.
Hello, Alice. It's Andy here. And what sadly you can't see is my face. Sorry about this, but hopefully you can hear me.
I can.
And, I have up in front of us a sheet of paper, which Adam is going to zoom in on. Now, I've not caught all of the words you've said, because, full disclosure, I've been sending emails to the lovely Judy, who tells us that there's a bit of a problem with the technicals her end. So I'm hoping we'll be able to kind of support her as well. Forgive the kind of vibrations as I just try and focus that in a bit more. There we go, Alice. Now, I've attempted to capture that at the same time as messaging Judy. So, you know, multitasking is well, I can't multitask. I'm a bloke. We'll come back to that sexist comment later on. Okay.
Andy,
now,
why do you make a sexist comment every time I do a broadcast with you?
I think I should. I think I do, don't I? Anyway, so what I've captured here is that you're running a community of connection, which I thought was a lovely idea. It's a lovely sounding thing, mostly in Brighton and Hove, called BelongCon. And hopefully there are people out there who've never heard of this before. So it's a privilege to be able to tell them about it. There is a real focus on mental well-being.
Yes.
So it has a mental well-being angle such as life, loss, grief, and also a showcase and a discussion area for projects just generally to help people. And you listed some lovely projects in there.
Yeah.
You also put a lot of emphasis on just the honesty of that conversation. And that's a space that sounds like it's a well-needed thing to have.
Yeah.
It's impressive. It's really nice to know that in response to interest from outside of Brighton and Hove, people from overseas and so on, it's a lovely ambition to be able to respond to that. And you would like to help spread this community into the other cities, towns, countries, and so on. So part of your request then, as I understand it, is that if there's anyone who in Brighton and Hove who has those connections to people in other cities or other towns who might want to get in touch with you and sort of learn from the model you have of BelongCon, take that forward and perhaps build relationships between BelongCon Manchester or BelongCon Bristol or BelongCon Argentina or wherever.
Absolutely.
And have those sort of connections back to yourself.
Absolutely.
Sorry. Yes. Plus, I also heard you talking about a general call just for more people to get involved locally. Now, somewhat weakly, I've tried to summarize that with "and help locally too." But I've softened it by putting in the smiley face as a way of trying to denote what you said, which is this thing about it's a kind of willingness, and there you are, clearly very skilled, very happy to kind of help people kind of pick up the kind of skills that are needed in there.
Yeah, and I think, you know, Brighton will always be BelongCon's spiritual home. I mean, you know, from the work you do with People's Republic, we're in a very special little space here, and it's, you know, that it would be amazing for that soul and that heart and that amazing vibe of Brighton and Hove to radiate outwards.
Yeah, I know what you mean, and actually I do love living in this city. There's a very strong sense of solidarity about it. You know, it's really nice. I mean, you know, it's like just down my own street, we kind of shut the street every now and again, a couple of years, and have street parties. It's that kind of camaraderie and, you know, feeling safer in all the diversity. Now, what I have here is your, what we call an ambition calling card.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, and normally, you may know this, Alice, normally we go out into the real world and we stand in public spaces, not making a nuisance of ourselves, but genuinely being unbelievably friendly in front of this great big board, which we put ambition sheets up on. Now, the intention is, normally, is people would wander past and they get interested. And that tends to happen. We find people sort of getting drawn in to the ambitions that people have put up on this board, and that sort of opens up that conversation for them. They start thinking about, "Ooh, that's a nice idea. Maybe I would like to as well." And then we support them through that process as well. So we've been in places like standing out on the Kent Town Carnival, which was wonderful. Great fun, lots and lots of people, some of them really dressed up fantastically, out on New Road and on street corners and so on. So, you know, the row basically puts me on street corners soliciting people to try and get them in to share their ambitions. But what tends to happen as people go through is we put out a lot of post-it notes. Sadly, because of this little sort of viral thing that seems to be going around, whatever that is, we can't actually be out on the streets and we can't interact with people. So I stand here already with my pocket full of felt tip pens, all happy and ready, to make down comments. And we're sort of over here on the kind of virtual street corner, rather than a real street corner, sort of broadcasting to various people live. And also this will be available after the show on a rerun as well. And we'll continue to keep taking notes and hopefully add in real contacts, which we pledge to get back to you. And that's part of the sharing. Plus, of course, you know, if anyone else is watching and you fancy kind of putting up an ambition of your own, a little sort of something you'd like to do, maybe something grander, like you'd like to write your first novel or something like that, and you don't know where to start, then those are the sorts of questions we can put up there. Get some help in there, advice, tips, coaching, and stuff like that. And I know, actually, that the LongCon, with you, Alice, have been connecting people through to coaches as well, as part of your response to us all being trapped indoors, which is something I personally will commend to anyone watching. You know, do follow Alice and you know, kind of get in touch with the Hove LongCon thing, and you'll see and you'll hear and you'll feel for yourself what it is she's doing and why this safe, honest conversation that she's curating, if that's the right kind of word. Curating might be a bit strong, I don't know.
No, I like curating.
Yeah, okay, that she's curating is you know, happily available. So, you know, kind of we'll see what comes in and everything. Right. This goes on the wall. We'll continue to collect up ambitions from other people. We'll pause every now and again to make sure that everyone has a chance to come in and make some comments yourselves. And there are, just to say what Adam would say, there are 3 ways that people can get in touch with us. One is putting in a comment directly underneath the live stream. Best to do that on the Facebook page for Ambigo, because we see that direct. The other ones we get to see later, but if we see them direct, we can get them on this wall straight away. You can call in to the wonderful, through WhatsApp, you can message in to the wonderful Agatha. You got to meet Agatha, Alice. You'd probably really like her. She'd love you. And the number for that is 07488 912 331, and it will scroll along the bottom of the screen for you to dial in yourself and message her on WhatsApp. If you do, say hi from us. And of course, there is a link, and you can come in live, have a chat with us live, wave to everybody on air, and we'll take your comment direct, and I will write in my bestest possible handwriting any comment that you have that you might like to put up on one of these or the other ambitions that come up. Alice, did you know that generally speaking, we get 3 types of comments? I don't know if I shared this with you before, and they tend to be just words of support, or maybe tips, advice. You know, I can see something that maybe you've not seen, or I did something similar and this worked really well, or beware of the big bad wolf or something like that.
Yeah.
The second are genuine contacts, somebody who knows somebody. And that's brilliant. I know someone who can print that for you. Or I know somebody who lives in Bristol who would love it. Let me put you in touch. That's the kind of brilliant thing. And of course, that third thing, that third type of comment is, gosh, that sounds so interesting. I'd like to come along. I'd like to be a part of that. And we welcome that, because that opens up some wonderful, wonderful conversations. Yeah. Alice, thank you. That's great.
Thank you for inviting me.
I'm just checking. Adam, are you back with us?
No.
No. Adam, have you been able to help the wonderful Judy at all?
Yes, so we will hopefully be talking to Judy very shortly. I just wonder if you'd like to share, Alice, before you go, the next date in the diary that we need to watch out for.
Yes, what a good idea.
Indeed. So the next online BelongCon is going to be on Tuesday, the 12th of May at 7 p.m. And tickets are on sale for that now.
And where do we go to get those tickets?
So if you go to our website, which is belongcon.com, and go to upcoming events, or if you search for BelongCon on Eventbrite, we will come up there. And if you want to follow us on social media, we are at BelongCon. So that's Belong, C-O-N, on all of the social medias.
Perfect. That's for
I'm
any
just going to write it on the sheet as well.
Okay. Thanks so much, Alice. That was really clear. It's really inspiring. And I really hope that we get you the volunteers that you need to help expand this and make it even bigger and better, just how you want it. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll be in touch if and when people comment.
See you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Lovely. So that's Alice. And if you've been inspired by what Alice has had to share and you want to tell us what your goal, idea, or ambition is, then you can get in touch. Andy's just told you the ways you can get in touch. So on Facebook, on WhatsApp at the number there, or on the link that you'll see next to the video here on Facebook. Okay. Shall we jump into the next person, Andy? We see if Judy's there. So Judy, oh, no, we can't go to Judy because it says that their mic or camera is not connected. Okay, so there are some technical problems. It's not Judy's fault, and it's not our fault. It's the people who run this service we're using. So we'll have to come back to Judy on that one. But in the meantime, we've got a written ambition that somebody has written. So are you ready with pen and paper, Andy, to try and get this one down for us?
Right. So yes, this I have my pen, my paper.
Somebody called Emily has said that she wants to help people who feel isolated during the lockdown period feel less alone. So that's a very clear ambition, a very nice one. So what she's doing is that she wants to set up Zoom calls to bring people together online who are alone at the moment. And so she's actually starting this on Wednesday, next Wednesday. And they'll have a general relaxed chinwag about life at the moment and the challenges of lockdown. So that's what she's going to do and wants to do. So what would help her is if we could have a think about anybody we know who's in lockdown alone at the moment, so we can tell them about the calls. So does anybody out there know anybody who is in lockdown at the moment alone and would appreciate some virtual company online, because Emily is setting up these Zoom calls on Wednesdays. So it's a bit too complicated to give you the exact web address that they need for that. So you can just leave a comment if you're interested in this, and then we'll get back to you with the exact link so we can connect you to what Emily's doing. So we've got a comment coming through now from somebody. We'll come back to that in a minute. There's somebody who's just shared an ambition on Facebook, so we'll get into that in a moment. But Andy, have you managed to take that down?
I have, I believe. Let me place it in as our close-up area, and through the magic of technology, which is me pressing a few buttons on the screen, I hope to be able to zoom in on it. There we go. So Emily, hello Emily. Emily wants to help people who feel isolated during the lockdown, and she wants to help these people feel less alone. So if you'd like to help people who feel isolated during the lockdown to feel less alone, let's try and make that grammatically a little bit more correct, shall we? Using Zoom calls. And it sounds like a lovely thing. Oh, and she's offering Wednesday calls just to have a nice chin wag with people, nice friendly chat about whatever comes up, presumably in conversation. And the help she needs really are basically connection with anyone who would like and would benefit from such a call. So people who are isolated at the moment and feeling lonely. So if you know someone and would like to nominate that person, please do. And we'll be more than happy to put you or that person in touch with Emily and see whether that can happen. Simple, really. Emily, thank you very much. Let's see if we can get people in there to help. And of course, if you'd like to copy or be inspired by what Emily is offering here, maybe sort of get in touch as well and ask to be a part of what Emily's doing. She may get inundated and be able to hand off people and do a nice little network of callers. Or you may be able to just chat with one another to support each other as you go through these kind of conversations. Stuff like that. Adam, are you there, or are you okay?
I'm here. Don't worry, I'm here. Yeah,
I thought you might be busy.
We're trying to get Judy connected, but the technology is really not playing with her. It's quite unfair because we're looking forward to her sharing what her goal, idea, or ambition is, and hopefully we will find out a little bit later. But in the meantime, if you can help Emily, then please do get in touch, because Emily would like to hear from you. So there are 3 ways you can do it. You can either leave a comment underneath the Facebook video that you're watching right now, or comment on YouTube, or you can click on the link that's right next to this video in the message that accompanies this video, and you'll actually join us in this video broadcast. Woo! It's not scary. It's a very chilled atmosphere here. We would normally give you cakes and crisps and things at our events, but we can't do that digitally. So hopefully you can provide your own. And anyway, what's the 3rd way? You can get in touch with Agatha. So Agatha is taking your messages on the WhatsApp. So 07488 912 331 is the number that's about to scroll across the bottom of your screen. So if you're on WhatsApp, you can send her a message and she'll relay it to us. So we've had a comment through on Facebook from Mia. And Mia's ambition is simply, any ideas how to lose weight? Well, me personally, you're going to hate me because I have the exact opposite problem. I don't know how to put it on. But let's throw it out there. You know, if there's people out there who have successfully lost weight before, then Mia would like to know, how do you do it? How did you manage it? It's really difficult, especially at these times, of course, with lockdown. We are allowed to go out for exercise, but it's not easy. And especially if you've got other people in the house and you live in a small space. So if anybody's got any ideas for Mia, then again, do get in touch. She would appreciate that, I'm sure. And Mia, if you're still with us, then watching right now, then you can actually join us on the call and we can have a nice chat and we can talk about it a bit more if you'd like to. Otherwise, let's hope that some people get in touch with some ideas for you, because you won't be alone in that ambition at all. So I wonder if Andy's scribing that down for us now, Andy.
Andy has been scribing as best he can. Hello, Mia. Thanks for messaging us. I've got to admit, I actually have a lot of sympathy with this. I seem to be putting on a few extra pounds as well. So it's an interesting question, and one I thank you for putting in. So Mia, we're recording. You would like to lose weight. It's some weight. I'm assuming it's some weight, and I'm also assuming that in particular it's during the lockdown period that this question is really applying to. So any ideas, tips, advice, welcome, especially from being in that home. And gosh, it occurs to me that there's quite a lot going on. Yes, as Adam says, we're allowed an hour's worth of external exercise. If you are one of these key workers, presumably you don't have a choice. You're out there doing a lot of work anyway, and out there doing stuff. But for the rest of us, trying to keep everybody safe, we're stuck in with no more than an hour's outside time. And of course, the temptation might well be, and it is for me, to find ourselves ever so close to the old fridge and the old kitchen, where being able to snack becomes very, very tempting. Let me put this, Mia, if I may, up on the wall with the other ambitions that are coming in, and invite people, as Adam has been saying, to make any comments. And we'd love to hear your comments. I stand ready with my Post-its, my pocket full of coloured pens, ready to make any comments and put them on these Post-its and share these with the people who've been kind enough to share what their ambitions are.
Well, I just want to share something personally that I use. It's terrible trying to show it on a webcam, but it's something called Freeletics. So it's an app which acts as a personal trainer in your pocket. So Freeletics is called Freeletics because it's free, not in price. You do have to pay, unfortunately, but it can be used even if you have no equipment, because so many online workouts you'll get on YouTube and that kind of thing, they somehow expect you to have a whole set of dumbbells, barbells, and all sorts of things. But with this app, you can actually say, I have absolutely no equipment. I've never done any proper serious exercise before, and it will work with you. It starts off very slowly, and it will just make you do some jogging on the spot, some star jumps, that kind of thing. And it initially just gauges your fitness level, and then it will start to build a routine for you, or a program, I should say, full of different workouts that suit your ability. So I find it's pretty useful. But that's just me personally. If anybody out there has any tips for Mia, any advice, any ideas as to how, not just her, but loads of people, anybody who wants or needs to lose some weight, especially during this lockdown period, if you can help, then put your comments on Facebook, click on the link that's next to this video to join us in this video broadcast and share it that way. Or you can get in touch on WhatsApp at the number that's about to scroll across the bottom of your screen, and Agatha will be with you. So we've got another written ambition. Andy, how about this one? Now, this is from somebody called Aniston. Now, I've never heard that before as a first name. Aniston as in Jennifer Aniston. So A-N-N-I-S-T-O-N.
A-N-N-I-S-T-O-N. Hello, Aniston.
So Aniston has said that sadly she was made redundant about a month ago, and her landlords aren't suspending the rent. So she's pursuing other jobs, and she's had some luck, but they require a car. Now, she does have a license, but she doesn't have the car. So this is a really, really important thing for Aniston, because she needs to get back into work, but she's being held back because she doesn't have the car. So that's her ambition, to get a car so she can get working again. So what would help her to achieve this ambition? Well, she's putting the ask out there, asking, does anybody know of any really cheap cars, or even someone willing to sort out a pay later sort of deal? Because her predicament at the moment is leaving her in a really tricky position. Money's incredibly tight right now, she says. So if anyone has any leads, that would be wonderful. So if you could help Aniston, either by connecting her with somebody you think might be able to supply a car, or, you know, just do anything to help her get behind the wheel, basically, so she can start working again, so she doesn't have to worry about paying the rent, then she would be massively grateful, I'm sure. So thank you, Aniston, for sharing that. And Andy, I think, has got that down.
Well, Andy's been trying to. Let me zoom in, and we'll just tighten that up as we go. And here again, through the majesty and magic of pressing a few buttons, I'll take you in to the sheet that we've written. Aniston, I recognise you've been made redundant. I'm sorry to hear that, and that there's still rent to pay. So there really are burdens on your limited funds, and you have some possible jobs that you can possibly get to pursue, but you need a car to be able to do these, and you can already drive, and you have a license, and so the real help there is basically a vehicle, a car that you can use that is low cost, so or that you can pay for later. Or maybe even just borrow whilst we go through this whole lockdown period. We don't know, because you've not said as yet what type of job and so on, but we don't necessarily need to know. The help that you need is really connections with someone who might be able to get you that kind of vehicle, may be able to have a chat with a possible budget that you need to work with, or maybe some higher purchase versions, or maybe some loan type things. But the contacts and the advice for Aniston, that's what we're asking for here. So let's see, connection with someone or people who can lend or sell a car, noting limited funds just at this time. There we go, Aniston. Right, what I would do is, let me show you the full wall again. Here I am in front of the Ambi wall, the ambition wall. And let me put up your ambition somewhere here so that we can wait for and hopefully get some comments that are going to be useful to you. And of course, with a lot of garages in the kind of semi-shutdown situation, it's quite hard to see what there is. But there may be someone out there with the right kind of connections, some vehicle that's going to be able to help you. And as you probably are aware, we tend to get 3 types of comments to the ambitions that go up on these walls. The first one tends to be some tips and advice, and someone out there may have some tips and advice on other approaches to how you can resolve this problem. It may be a connection straight through to a car. It may be some ideas about car sharing, something that you've not necessarily thought of. And that's where the magic of this comes in. That's where it's really useful as we tap into other people's creativity. The second are direct contacts, and there may be somebody out there who is a car dealer who has the right kind of vehicle and the right kind of budget for you, or some other option for you that might be perfect, at least might be useful. And having that opportunity to have the conversation is exactly what we're after here. And of course, this request of yours, it's likely to be quite common. There's a lot of furloughing going on. There's a lot of jobs at risk. There's a lot of people running out of money, and not all landlords and rental places are putting rents on holiday and so on. So there is a squeeze on funds for quite a lot of people. So we may get some comments here basically saying, me too, please, I'd like to hear the same kind of answers and share that wider and further. And we're more than happy to do that. Hey, Adam. Right, well, hey, whilst Adam comes back to us, yes, brilliant. I wanted to ask you to share with everyone how they can get in touch. Were you able to do that?
I think I should, yeah. Oh, you can get in touch in 3 ways. One of them is to write a comment underneath the Facebook video that you're watching, and it'll pop up on our screens and we'll be able to read it out. Or you'll see that there's a little link that you can click on that's next to this video, and that will make you go and you'll land on our screen, and we'll be able to click a button and you will join us on this video broadcast. Or you can get in touch with Agatha, who's waiting for your WhatsApp messages. So that number right there, bottom of the screen, there it goes. That's the number you need to get in touch with if you want to speak to Agatha or send her a message, and you can give us your information, contact, idea. Now, somebody I'm really hopeful we're going to be hearing from very, very shortly, Sophie, has actually commented saying, our car club's functioning. Now, of course, that's great.
Hello, Sophie.
So Sophie said, our car club's functioning. Just by the way, Sophie, we're ready to speak to you and Annie as well, just so you know. So feel free to hop on board this broadcast. So Sophie says, our car club's functioning. And I just did a little bit of research there while you were talking, Andy. And Brighton and Hove City Council actually run a community car club, or at least they're involved in one. And if you go to the Enterprise Car Club website, then you'll be able to find out more. So what I did was just typed in Brighton Car Club into my search engine, and it came up with the council's website, and they then link to Enterprise's website, who run a community car club scheme. So that's something for you to look at, Aniston. Hopefully that's helpful. Thank you to Sophie for leaving that comment, and we'll make sure that it gets to Aniston if she's not watching right now. But I think it's time we spoke to some real life human beings other than each other, Andy. Does that sound like a good idea? Okay, well, I'm going to have to get rid of you, Andy, because we need to fit everybody on the screen, because we've not got just one person, but we've got 2. So we have Annie and Sophie.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Are you doing great, Annie?
I'm fine. Do you know what? It's so nice to actually see Sophie, because we text, we call all the time. We do very little Zoom. So actually, hello. Hello. You look well.
You look well too.
Well, thanks.
Shall I just leave you to it?
Yeah. We're fine. Actually, we need to catch up today, right?
Oh. Okay, so what is it that you've wanted to get involved in our online event tonight about? Tell us about your joint goal or ambition?
So basically, a few weeks ago, when all this COVID stuff started, I had an idea, and I put the idea out on Facebook, and Annie went, "I like that, and I want to join." What we have started is a project called 2020 Vision, and the idea is to collect beautiful portraiture of NHS workers behind the mask once this pandemic is over. And we know it might take a while, but this gives us a chance now to prepare for that. So we've created a collective of photographers already that are willing to come together. And this is nationwide, but we've got a fair few in Brighton that are on board, and it's quite exciting. And Annie, do you want to say why you...
Yes. Well, first of all, I mean, I worked with Sophie well over 2 years ago now, and I loved her from the start, and I drew a lot of inspiration from her as a creative, and the way that I like to work as a film and videographer and a photographer is very much alongside other creatives, as opposed to kind of feeling everyone is competition or very different, or we can't gel or get on or talk about projects. So with Sophie, she opened my mind to actually working together, film and photo working together, and as I progressed through my profession, looking up to Sophie always, seeing her amazing work online, especially with Generation Share and all the other projects I've seen her produce, it got to the point where she came on, and in this sort of time when we're all looking for a bit of inspiration, something to grab onto, Sophie's idea just went pong, and it was just like, this is a beautiful idea. My partner works in the NHS. My sister used to be a paramedic. My old folk, my parents are in isolation. What can I do? And I felt that it spoke to me, and I think it's speaking to a lot of people. And I think a lot of people have this instant connection with this amazing idea, which came, what was it, in the middle of the night, Sophie? It was,
I used to work going back about 20 years ago. I used to work in the art and healthcare environment as an artist, and I did murals, made photography, and I worked with a lovely lady called Candice, who is an arts coordinator at that time at Barnet General Hospital. And so that idea came swimming back to me, and what I envisage is this. It's beautiful portraits, and hospital, well, it doesn't have to be hospital, does it? NHS heroes, and to be taken by different photographers who have different ideas about how to photograph them. So what you have is, you might have some studio portraiture done in a particular way and some studio portraiture in another way. And you might have people on location. The idea is to have a real mix coming from the heart of the photographer who's contributing to this, and connecting with that individual that has is deserved of a beautiful portrait, and then for us as the viewers of these portraits to have something of a tribute of the saving lives that's going on right now.
Yeah, and can I also say, I saw the big picture. I could see the vision of the exhibitions and many photographers coming together, the NHS staff coming together, and actually seeing a celebration at the end of it, seeing a tribute, a heartwarming gathering that we're all so longing to have. And I saw it. I saw the vision, I think.
Are you looking to have some kind of text, so some a written story attached to the images and the film, or are you just looking for the images to do the talking?
We did talk about that in the beginning. We did talk about that. I mean, I love stories, and I call myself a visual storyteller because what excites me about photography is that it tells a story. When a photograph is taken beautifully, I mean, it impacts me. I'm looking at all these wonderful photographers' work, and it hits me here. When we were talking about something text, which, Annie, we did talk about in the beginning, but we haven't decided on that. I think there should be something.
Yes, I feel that these things develop as we get to know the photographers, we get to know the people behind the masks, and I think that the photographers are going to connect, because these are the photographers we've been drawing in, are people who work well with people, who communicate, who want that human connection in their photographs. And I think that this is a perfect opportunity to wait and see what comes from this. We've all got the luxury of time right now to allow this to breathe and grow on its own. So waiting for a time when we hear those stories and it just sparks an obvious reaction in writing that story that goes with that portraiture. I think it's going to tie and marry towards the later stages, definitely.
Annie, the creative processes was what's happening now. So the photographers that have started to come on board over the last few weeks are coming in and saying, I'm really excited about this. I'm really excited to create on this. This is the idea that I've got. Some of them are going away and thinking about it, but those that are coming with the ideas, it's just wonderful. They're all different. And that's the beauty of all these different photographers. They're all different ideas. So
you said that photographers have been coming on board for a few weeks. When was it you had this idea?
Hang on. I should know that, shouldn't I? I think it was a Sunday.
Any Sunday. I think 3 weeks. I think 3 weeks is good, because we've done the website, we've got 100 photographers involved, more than, and yeah, we've done a lot in those 3 weeks, but I think it's probably about 3 weeks.
How many photographers?
Oh, we've got
well, I have
it in counting.
Yeah, I have it on the list.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And we've got some in Wales, we've got Northern Ireland, we've got Scotland, we've got Cheshire, we've got Worthing, we've got Essex, and London, Hackney.
And how have you got the word out so far?
Facebook Lives initially, and I think most from Facebook, and then people started tagging people in. Got LinkedIn. Instagram starting to come through now. It's difficult to keep up with social media, because I'm doing Generation Share as well. So those, mostly Facebook, but Instagram is quite nice, because now I'm starting to look at photographers in the UK and thinking, oh, I love your work. Do you want to be involved too? So that's kind of how it's happening. And
so have people already been taking photos for the project?
No,
that's to come.
No,
okay.
The confusion in the beginning was people were thinking that I'm asking people to go in now, and that's not the idea. The idea is behind the mask, behind the uniform. That person, not in the hospital, not in the healthcare environment. It's who that person is outside of the environment, because I'm sure by then they'll want that. So we're saying clearly it's those people behind the masks once the pandemic is over. So an example, there's a photographer called Kathy Klickchick. She is a brilliant photographer. She does a lot of running, and she does this amazing work with runners. And they're just beautiful. And what she was talking about was, there's those NHS workers that like to go for a run. So she would capture those kind of people, and it would be that kind of shoot. Whereas that lovely photographer up north, what's the name? That her work is pre-Raphaelite. She works in the studio.
Lisa Holmes. Yeah.
Lisa Holmes. So her work is in studio. She wants to treat them as royalty, and she wants to photograph them quite posed, but like a king or queen. And to have props, so it's two completely different kind of shoots. Yeah. So you can imagine that kind of work up on exhibited. It's going to look amazing. Yeah. There we go.
Well, we've already had a comment come through from somebody called Mary, who has asked if, in her words, is the Photography Coalition open to other collaborations? So are you looking for other people?
Yes, I think we are, because although I had thought, 360 would be nice, I think I'm keeping it to 100. Even though I've got over 100 photographers, I believe I don't know if they're I want to make sure I've got enough so that there will be definitely 100 that are on board, because there's some people that say yes and they drop out. So Mary, yes, I am looking for more. We are looking for more photographers to come on board.
And I would suggest that we sort of open up to more conversations about who else within the NHS would like to support, and sort of more contacts all over. We'll listen, like you won't believe, to any ideas that might sort of embellish or help grow this, because it's already big, but we want to listen to everyone and incorporate as many ideas as possible and make it as interesting and as diverse and as inclusive as possible as well. So
you'd like more people to come on board. You'd like more people to share their ideas as to how you can make this project flourish even more. Do you have another big ask? Do you have another big ask for the people watching today, that you, in a way that could help you make this ambition become reality in its greatest form?
So, from my part, if this project, if what we've said has sung to you, I want you to please go to our website. Please visit our Facebook page. Please share it. If you're somebody involved in the NHS that likes this idea, please get in touch, share your ideas. If you're a photographer, or you know a photographer that's, who doesn't know a photographer that would be involved, then please get them in touch with us. So I guess that's 3 things I'm asking for. What about you, Annie?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, next week we're going to be releasing a film, which is a collaboration of everyone. All the photographers involved have had the option to send in a video to a script, and it's a delivery of that script, the mission of the 2020 Vision Project, said by the photographers who have filmed all of this at home themselves, sent it all to me. And that in itself will just show the magnitude and the passion that these people have for it already. It's not easy to jump on camera, especially photographers. They're the worst. Yeah. They do not want to be on camera, right? I hate it too. And they've all done these really beautiful, heartfelt videos, and it is quite moving already, and we've not even finished it. So to see that in motion, and if people see this on Facebook, if they could go to 2020vision.co.uk, and please have a look at the video and share on Facebook, because the further we can reach, because we're well aware, we're both in Brighton, and we're well aware that we are quite limited in that spider web of contacts. So we need to throw it up to Scotland. We need to throw it to the Midlands. We need to throw it to all the far corners of the UK. And I'm hoping the video, and obviously the website as well, has a lot of detail on, but we're also going to have a whole wall of every single photographer involved, with a picture and a link to their own work. So it's a great portfolio of photographers. If you want to pick one up in Bristol, then we've got one in Bristol. So it's lovely to see the amount of people coming together, sharing this vision, and actually getting this shared passion that we don't, as photographers, often get to do with one another. So for me, it's a new
irony, isn't it, Annie? When we chatted this morning, we were saying that photographers are normally the invisible ones, and yet we're the ones that make people visible. And we normally work in isolation, and in our business, we're very much in isolation, unless we make contact with the person that we're photographing. And here we are, photographers in isolation coming together in this collaborative, and that's what I find very exciting.
Yeah, it's so exciting. It's such a poignant, beautiful project, and I've really enjoyed talking to you so much that now it's actually Andy's turn. I want to let him have a go at having a chat with you, because what's going to be really useful now is summarising all of that. So that's what Andy's been doing. So I'm going to hop out, and Andy's going to jump in. Andy.
Cool.
This is me jumping in, but I'm jumping in paper format, because, as you're probably aware, my role is to try and scribe an ambition calling card. So what I'd like to do, hello Sophie, hello Annie, what I'd like to do is just check that I've captured the key elements of your ambition. I've got to admit, I love the idea of this ambition. It's so creative, it's so upbeat, I love the kind of heart behind it. But enough about me, I'm not here to judge. Let's see, you started a project, and the title is 2020 Visions, and it's a collection of portraits of healthcare NHS workers, and you've managed to get some photographers on board. It's quite a lot of photographers on board from what you were saying already. and the project is to spread across the country. That's your intention. That's your goal there. And you're looking to give a mix of creative portraits in tribute of our lifesavers. And you also mentioned working towards, helping to bind that community and bind our connection with the real people behind the mask. A way of doing a kind of portrait that gets inside and allows us to see the people in there. Does that sound about right?
It sounds about right. It's 2020 vision. It's one vision. As I think you made it plural, which is
yes, I did.
Quite nice,
I will make that S. There we go. 2020 vision. Thank you very much for that. Now, when it comes to the help you're asking for, I've tried to summarize it in 3 lines. One, that you would like more photographers, and I've made a note of Mary's comment, which gets put automatically on there, and she was asking about other creatives, and you've basically said yes, you're happy to chat about that, and I'm not surprised from what you've been saying, the way you're embracing so much creativity. So more photographers to get involved, especially in those places around the country that you've not quite managed to get through yet. So anyone locally who knows a photographer up in Scotland, maybe, that would be fantastic. That would be a great link to have. Ideas on growing and embellishing the project. So that's other creativity around and helping you, maybe some things that you might not have thought of yet. I imagine you're getting a lot of input from the creatives you're working with already, but I'm pleased to be able to put that point there, saying that you're more than happy to hear other ideas. And of course, NHS, people in the NHS itself who would like to get involved, connect you to departments that you might not already be in touch with, stuff like that. Were those the 3 key things you were asking for?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And to sort of raise it to the point where sort of the press and people can actually help spread that as well. So inclusive.
That's great.
Hello.
Well, you probably know, hello, this is what I look like. You're probably aware then that my role then is to put this somewhere nice and prominent on our wall of ambitions.
Thank you.
And we will, live through this conversation, and also because this show will continue to be available for people to watch afterwards, we'll continue to be aware, to wait to try and get more comments in that's going to be useful to help you expand, to get more established and be in a better position to deliver what is shaping up to be a very exciting creative project here. And we'll see what comes in. And I'll say it, you probably heard me say it before, but because of the nature of the show, it's good for us to repeat things. We tend to get 3 types of comments. One is any ideas, encouraging words, tips, advice, stuff that you may not already have thought of. And it's wonderful what other people come up with, right? We love that. That's one of the strengths behind doing this kind of work. The second are actual contacts. And that would be brilliant. We mentioned photographers up in Edinburgh or Stirling or Thurso or wherever, somewhere in the Midlands. I don't know, other places that you kind of looking for creative people. And you're open to many types of photographic creativity to begin with, but you've also, in response to Mary's question. Sophie, did you want to say something?
Yes, I do. I do want to make it clear that they do need to be have evidence of having worked with people, because we're entrusting these photographers to work with people.
Right.
So if the photographer is brilliant, but they do street photography or they photograph people at a distance, documentary style, they're not directly connecting with the people. They need to be able to be a portrait photographer who has the experience of connecting with people.
Excellent. That's a really, really good point, a very important point. So thank you for bringing that up. So it's those people, and no doubt you'll have that conversation with them to double check to I don't want to use the word vet them, but it's a sort of making sure that's true. But the initial
because we're not just thinking of the goal of the project, but also on the way, that there's going to be that NHS worker that's going to be introduced to the photographer. They want somebody that they want to feel comfortable.
Yes.
So I have actually talked to a few of the photographers already most by email, but sometimes I've picked up the phone or they've picked up the phone and had some beautiful conversations about why they're a photographer in the first place, and a portrait photographer particularly is somebody who loves people.
Yeah.
And all the photographers I know, I'm so glad there's a few that I know who are on board, are just, they're beautiful connectors. They're wonderful human connectors. I think that's the ability a portrait photographer has.
There is a heart to this project, which is now becoming clearer to me as you tell me about it. I know you, as I think back to what you were saying to my colleague and friend Adam, it's in what you were saying there, but I'm happy to emphasize it here as well. That personal connection, the warmth, the amiability, the empathy that goes in that process of photographing as well is, from what you're saying, a very strong, essential part of this project. I'm really glad to be able to.
Can I interject there and say it's a chance to give them a bit of a treat, because some people see a photo shoot as a treat, and we feel that, if they're able to get dressed up for the day, put some makeup on, be lavishly looked after and loved and connected with, we feel that it's a little bit of a thank you in a gift sense to those who like being on camera, of course, but it should be a treat and something to be enjoyed by the NHS staff or the healthcare workers that we're going to be aiming for.
That too, I think, is a really lovely point.
That's a really good point.
Yes,
I think that's another advantage to this as well.
It's a very
professional photo shoot.
And also, something that I don't think I've mentioned, because another reason why this was so strong in my heart, it was because I was seeing work that I've done juxtaposed with the need that the public have to applaud and to acknowledge and to recognise and to validate. We as a public are so appreciative right now, and I want to have something at the other side of this that stands there and says, "You're fantastic, you're wonderful." And I know there's probably going to be like that with people in Mark. There's some great photographers, that's very brave photographers in hospitals right now. It's amazing work that's been done. This is different. This is a treat, but also an opportunity for the public to go, these guys are amazing.
Yeah, and to stay there in the future and keep reminding people, in future generations to come, this is a piece of work that will be a real reflection on a period of time that we've all lived through, and it will hopefully be a part of some sort of history. It is history, but to have that real body of work that a whole bunch of photographers have created together is really special, and it's very exciting.
There's a legacy here that I'm hearing. Yes. A legacy that is in tribute of some very human, very, very emotional, very real, touching elements of what's been going on alongside, or even in spite of the tragedy we're going through, the trauma we're going through. This is great. I'm really pleased to have this up on the wall. Let's see what comes in. Adam, are you there? Would you like to tell everybody how they can get in touch and make comments?
I shall do. It's a bit crammed with four of us, and I hope you don't mind me, Andy, just putting you out for a second. So yes, I can share those three ways everybody can get in contact. So we can either receive your contact by Facebook. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, maybe I'm a photographer, or I know somebody, or you wanted to respond to any of the other ideas that have been expressed in the last 15 minutes or so, then you can get in touch simply by writing a comment on Facebook underneath this video, or you can click on the link which accompanies the video and you will actually join us here in the video broadcast. Or you can get in touch on WhatsApp as well. You see the number right at the bottom of your screen there. If you send a message to that number, it will be read by our wonderful friend Agatha, and Agatha will relay the message to us. So thank you so much to Annie and Sophie for joining us this evening. It's genuinely been really heartwarming to talk to you for the last 20 minutes, actually. I think it's been something like that. But it's flown by, because it's been such a wonderful project to listen to, and I really wish you all the best with it.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Adam.
Lovely. Thank you.
Bye.
So Andy, I wonder if it's about time we had a bit of a review of what's happened so far, because we've had several ambitions come through, so it'd be good to have a little bit of a recap, I think. What do you think?
I would be happy to do so. May I take you through? Let's see. Going in no particular order, simply because I've got them up here in top left. Mia, who would like to lose a little weight during the lockdown, and she's asking for any ideas, tips, advice, and stuff like that. And there's a chap that we all know called Adam, who's already recommended something called Freeletics. Presumably it's like free athletics, but Freeletics as an app that might or might not be useful. Open to other comments there as well. Alice, hello again, Alice. She's from BelongCon, a local community of connection running here in Brighton and Hove, which has a good emphasis on supporting mental well-being, responding to mental illness, and helping people kind of deal with life loss and grief, and also get involved in some really lovely projects. And in response to interest from outside of the Brighton and Hove area, she's looking for contacts, connections to help take that community beyond the bounds of the city. Of course, if you want to get involved locally as well, she's more than happy to have people get involved. Emily here has come up with the idea of wanting to help people who are feeling isolated, to help them feel less alone. And she's offering a very lovely, just very wonderful, personal Wednesday chats via Zoom, which is an online conversation system. And really, she's just looking for nominations of people who would really benefit from that. So if you know somebody who doesn't really have the connection with families or friends, or could do with a kind of the contact with somebody who is probably really very friendly, then it would be lovely to be able to put you in touch with her, and vice versa. Aniston, who messaged in, she's been made redundant, and as many of us are, is dealing with, kind of outgoing pays, bills, rents, and so on, but not having the money coming in. And she has a transport problem. And although there's work that she can get to, or rather work options that's available to her, needing some kind of car transport is really important there. And she needs some sort of low-cost way of dealing with that. And there's a certain cycle in there. If she can't get to work, she can't raise the money, she can't pay the bills, and therefore earn enough to get the car and so on. So the kind of help there would be useful. And Sophie's responded by asking whether the car clubs are still functioning, and there is a route through to them, which we mentioned. And we've just been chatting with Sophie and Annie, who have this wonderful creative idea, the 2020 Vision project. And they mentioned the website, 2020vision.org.uk, I think they said. We'll double check that. And it's a collection of photographers to do portraits of NHS healthcare workers, to take place across the whole of the country, with an emphasis on the heart, the personal, the kind of caring elements of that, in a way of being a little bit of a gift to the care workers themselves, and also a way of creating this lovely legacy of the upbeat, the kind of compassionate side of our country. There's a summary of what we've got up there so far. Adam, what else is coming up?
Well, I was just about to jump in just to confirm what the web address is for that project in particular.
Oh, thank you, yes.
It's all the w's.2020vision.co.uk. 2020vision.co.uk. So Sophie's just left a little comment on Facebook, just like you can do as well. If you want to get in touch, that's one of the ways you can do so. And we've had another comment come through as well, Andy.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get too excited. It's from somebody who's calling himself or herself or theirself Juice on YouTube, who says, "What a bum."
What a what?
What a bum. So thank you, Juice, for your comment. It's left to us to guess which one of us he was talking about. Moving swiftly on, let's introduce our next participant.
I was writing that down. Well, thank you, Juice. If you have something...
Tara, save us. How are you, Tara?
Hello, Tara.
Evening. Audio is not perfect, I'm afraid. So if I don't hear you, I do apologise in advance.
Yeah, there seems to be a bit of a strange lag. So your lips aren't moving, but the sound coming through. But this is better than last time, hey? So let's be transparent with everybody.
Oh, it's a lot better.
We had one of these online events just over a week ago, something like that. And Tara was one of our guests on that show, but we couldn't hear her at all. But the benefit of that was that we actually took your ambition and we put it online as what we call an Ambition of Brighton post. So every so often we feature somebody's goal, idea or ambition in a post online. We describe what it is, why it's important to that person and what would help them achieve it. And then people get in touch with comments if they can help towards that ambition. So that's what we did. So I already know what you're about to tell us, but most of the people who are watching this, Tara, will not. So in your own words, would you like to describe for us what is your goal or idea or ambition?
Okay, so I started Friends for Friends, which is a Facebook group, just over a year ago. On this, after I had been working in mental health for just over 10 years, and then I also suffered a bout of bad mental health myself. So severe, it became that I actually tried to commit suicide. Now, obviously, fast forward 18 months and obviously still here, still very, very well. And thanks to the amazing staff, I'm where I am today. What I did find, however, is that the funding and obviously the availability of NHS mental health workers is limited because obviously the demand is so high, especially down in Sussex. So I started up a Facebook group because I've...
Oh, we were just getting into it. Oh, that's such a shame. Right, let's hope that Tara comes back to us sooner rather than later. I've got a feeling she's going to pop up back on our screens any moment. In fact, she's reconnecting straight away. So let's go back to her. Hello, Tara. Please stop being a black screen. There she is.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Continue exactly from where you were.
I'm not very techno-minded.
Don't worry about it. Neither am I.
So I started the Facebook group up originally just to obviously put the expertise that obviously I gained whilst working in the mental health industry, as well as obviously my own experiences. That grew quite considerably. So I started as a private group so that people could talk about their own experiences and each member can help each other to either get over any certain life issue that they've been through and that has caused them to suffer with mental health, or if they have an underlying mental health illness that obviously has to be learned to be managed, that people can share stories and share, you know, the tips and tricks, so to speak, to be able to carry on with the best possible of life that they can get.
Okay, you just cut out right at the end there, but we definitely got the important parts. I just wondered if you could, so we get a deeper understanding of why you've continued to do this. You know, why has it been so important to you? Can you share an example of somebody who has benefited from what you've been doing? And I know you've had a really, really deep effect and profound effect on certain people's lives. Oh,
Your question, I'm afraid.
Oh, yeah, you just froze on us. I'll ask it once more and hopefully you'll be able to hear me this time. I was just wondering if you could share with us an example of the impact that you and Friends for Friends has had on the people's lives that you've supported. No. You didn't hear that, did you?
Can you hear me okay? I can't hear any of your questions. Are you able to hear me okay?
Yes and no. You kind of come through in waves. Let's try once more. So just wondering if you could share the impact, some of the impact or an example of the impact that you and Friends for Friends has had.
We've had so far, obviously, we have roughly about 1,200 people on our group at the moment. So it's still very, very low on numbers. But obviously, 1,200 people that are suffering with mental health in and around Sussex alone, that is a lot of people. So you look at it on, you know, the vast sort of countrywide, it doesn't seem a lot, but 1,000 people are either receiving or have received support and help from us. Also, as well, the mental health service in the area, obviously their GPs, etc. You know, we advise everyone to obviously be visiting their GPs, mental health services, etc. However, they're only there when people are going to go to them. They're not going to know about a mental health issue that arises if they're not told. And I don't know about people, but for me personally, when I was suffering, I didn't know I was suffering. So I would talk to friends and, you know, relatives, etc. And they would be my go-to people. You know, I trust them. Friends for Friends is that safe place where people can talk in confidence. We adhere to the CQC regulations, which obviously means that if someone reports something to us that is dangerous or harmful to themselves or someone else, then yes, we legally do have to report it. However, we are there standing by them and supporting them actively, whether it be mentally or physically, through their journey from, you know, from a very, very low point in their recovery all the way through until they've recovered or learnt a good managing strategy.
This is wonderful. I remember you telling us when we wrote up a post about what you're doing, you said that in just 1 year you've prevented 4 suicides, and so that's 4 families that are still together. Without going into the personal details, of course, of those individuals, I mean, that's huge. How does that feel to have been part of that? You didn't hear the question again, did you? We were doing really well. It
is very humbling, obviously, from...
Carry on.
Bits. Bits. Yeah, I'm very, very proud of the team and what they've done so far. And obviously, yes, 4 suicides have been prevented, and those particular people have then gone and sought medical help from obviously professionals, so psychiatrists, doctors, hospitals, but they had originally Friends of Friends mental health team know of those individuals. So if they hadn't have been provided with the help and support that Friends of Friends gave them, there is a possibility that they may not still be with us now. So we do work alongside, you know, everything that comes through our, you know, it's within the guidelines of the CQC regulations. We make sure that it is kept either confidential or is reported onto the medical practitioners.
It's remarkable. Thank you so much. So I'm going to now cross over to our 5-way studio because Andy is over there. So he's been summarising what it is that your goal is and what help you need to help achieve it. In fact, is there anything else you'd like to add in terms of how people can help you with this? I don't think Tara heard the question. Tara, I was just asking, is there anything you would like to add regarding how people can help you with this?
So I'll repeat the question because I'm not sure if I heard it right. Are you asking me obviously where we would like to be from where we are now?
No, but you can answer that if you like. I was asking, how could people help you? Don't worry about it, Tara. What we're going to do, we're going to cross over to Andy.
I heard a little bit of that, so
There's a huge delay, so we'll leave it there, Tara, and we'll go to Andy, who's been summarising everything, and we'll see what he's managed to get down. But we've got all the information from you anyway, so if there's anything missing from what Andy's written, I'll make sure we take it from the post that we did with you earlier. So thank you so much, Tara. We're going to head over to Andy now, and we'll get in touch with you if and when people can comment with any useful suggestions. Thank you. Andy.
Hi. This is Andy, the disembodied voice, talking alongside
Thank you very much.
Ambition calling card. Tara, I am sorry about the quality of the connection there. Sometimes this happens, but let's see what we've got. Tara, you're running a lovely little group called Friends for Friends, and it's a group supporting people with mental health challenges. That's those going through mental illness and those moving on from illness. And you talked about it starting out as a private Facebook group to start off with, and it's building out. And you've modestly kind of mentioned the kind of impact, and it's nice to see from the post that you worked up with Adam how many people you have helped avoid suicide, avoid some real pain in their lives, and feel that camaraderie. So it's nice to be able to talk about your project here. I've summarized what looks like the 2 key bits of help that you're looking for. Of course, it's more people to join in, and there is a strength there in how you support each other, a lovely peer support between each other. Those tips and advice which you know are coming from a place from people who have a real insight into what it must be like going through those mental well-being challenges. And of course, again, taken straight from your post, there's a need there for funds. So any tips, advice, contacts, or maybe even direct donations would be useful there. Now, if you can still hear me, I'm hoping you will be able to confirm whether that's pretty much what we've what the ambition is and the help you're looking for. Let's assume that that's the case as I zoom back out to share with everybody the ambition wall itself. And Tara, what we're going to do is place your ambition somewhere nice and prominent on the wall and invite people to come and browse the wall, and when they do, to note the ambition that you've put up there and possibly come up with some tips, advice, maybe something you're not aware of that may be really very useful to you. A connection with Alice in Belongcon, for example, and later on we'll make that connection. There'll be a joy to introduce the both of you to each other, because there's some strengths possibly between what you're doing, and you may be able to help support each other with your particular initiatives. Also, any direct contacts that might be really useful. And we've underplayed, you haven't mentioned the need for funds in your chat with Adam, but I did notice it in your post. So, you know, maybe some tips and advice on that might be useful. And of course, if you know somebody who is struggling with their mental well-being and would benefit from some peer support, people who really understand because they're there themselves or they're moving on themselves, then, you know, this is a great contact to have, and it would be great to share that. Please do let us know, or just take the information and pass it on. And, you know, it would be nice for them to meet up with Tara as well. There may be some real benefits there. And of course, some just general comments about encouraging comments and so on, or possibly if you want to help Tara or do something similar in your area, then you know, pick up the idea, get in touch with her, and there's a lovely kind of strength in supporting one another through that kind of thing. Adam, can I invite you to share with everybody how they might like to get in touch?
Yeah, well, first of all, I just want to say thank you, Tara. The connection is pretty dreadful, so we will be there with you. But we really hope we've captured everything that's important to get captured, and we'll be in touch very soon. Thanks, Tara. So yes, I'll share with you now then, how can you get in touch? If you want to help Tara, or you've been inspired to get involved in what she's doing, then you can get in touch in 3 ways. One of them is by leaving a comment underneath the Facebook video that you're watching right now, or comment on YouTube if that's where you're watching this, or you can actually click on the link that's right next to this video. You'll see in the text accompanying this video a link. If you click on that, you'll join us straight into this video broadcast, and you can share your comments directly with us. Or you can actually get in touch with Agatha, who's waiting on the WhatsApp number. So it will scroll across the bottom of your screen shortly, 07488 912 331. Send a little message on your phone, and Agatha will receive it and she'll pass it on to us, because Agatha's really nice like that. So I just wanted to, before we moved on from Tara, I just wanted to also confirm where you can find her online. So one way to find her is actually by clicking on Ambigo, where you are watching this video. So go to Ambigo's Facebook page, scroll down a bit, and you'll see a post that we've written all about it. So you'll see me and her in the photo, and you'll read a post all about her ambition, and at the bottom of that you'll see the links. So if you search for Friends for Friends, so on Instagram, that's friends and then the number 4 friends, all one word, then you'll find her. On YouTube, it's Friends for Friends as well, and they're also on TikTok now, which is a new one for me. I'm trying to catch up in this third decade we're in of the 21st century. TikTok's a thing, and it's Tara Pickett, so that's her name, Tara Pickett, F4F, all one word, Tara Pickett, F4F. Okay, let's go into the next person, next participant who's ready and waiting. Please say hello to Tony. Hey, Tony.
Oh, hi, how are you?
Yes, very good, thank you. Really, really good as well, because I get to have a chat with you now. So full disclosure to everybody. Now, I already know Tony because we'll talk about it a little bit later on, but Ambigo and Tony's project, Tony's organisation, are actually going to be doing something together, which is rather exciting. But right now, Tony, let's focus on what's most important for you right now. Please share with us your goal, your idea, your ambition.
Can I just say before I do, what a great show. I like this. This is a very good setup, really good. So well done, guys. So yes, my goal, my ambition. So the Social Society, I'm the founder of the Social Society, and we've recently launched a campaign called Letters for Love. And basically what that entails is writing good old handwritten letters to people that are isolated, without a support network in the time of this pandemic, in this crisis, and we are looking for as much support as possible, really, to reach out and connect with people that are isolated far and wide outside of Brighton. Actually, we've had a great response so far, so that's what our ask is.
That's really succinct. Fantastic. Normally people are like, chat away for ages and ages and ages. You're like, boom. Right. So
really, it's really, really simple, I guess. We're doing lots of things at the moment in terms of campaigns and support locally in the community, because we obviously have a bank of volunteers. We're raising funds for food banks, and a friend and I, of mine, actually, we were talking a few weeks back about how we could connect with people that don't necessarily have social media, that aren't linked in with the Facebooks, the TikToks, the Instagrams, and really just connect. So people that have lost that daily trip to the supermarket, coffee shop, bakery, and no longer have that connection. And we thought about handwritten letters. So that's kind of where it comes from. So yeah, it's very succinct, it's very to the point, and it's very back to basics, really, in terms of reaching out and connecting with people in the community. So that's what it's all about.
So have any of these letters already been written?
Yes, actually. A few of our members actually have gone away and asked their creative writing groups and their friends and their family, and we've had an overwhelming response. We've got about 50 so far, and I'd say they came through in like 48 hours. We've had people download the link on the website from Sheffield, from London. We've had some interest from New York, and we've recently had someone from Brazil saying, what a fantastic project, how exciting, we'd like to get involved. So who knows, if we get it right, we could go global.
It already has. So what kind of things are people saying in these letters?
Oh, it's brilliant. So we've had people write poems, just really simple, heartfelt poems in a little card. We've had children do sort of drawings and tell people around about what they're doing. I'm playing badminton, I'm going out in the garden and getting sunshine. I hope you're okay. I hope you get to see the sunshine too. Stories. We even had a gentleman put forward, it was brilliant. It was a letter, again, really heartfelt, really sort of emotional, but then at the end of that, sort of almost like a conversation with his grandson in the future about what we did in the time of COVID-19 and how we responded to it. It was brilliant. We've had so many people get involved. It's been great.
And how do people get involved?
Yeah, so there are two ways, really. We have on our website, we've got a campaigns page that you can go to, and you can download a Letters with Love template. So you download it, you print it off, you just write letter, write it and send it off. Or we've had people write, and we collect some of the letters. We hand stamp them with this fantastic little stamp that came today, Letters with Love, and we post them ourselves. So we're aiming to reach 300 residents at the Brighton YMCA, which is a homeless provision, and I'm delivering about 15-20 of those next week. So yeah, either I collect, or you can go on the website, download, and then just send them off.
Well, let's have a look at the website, shall we? I'm going to do a little nifty thing. And in a second, we should be able to see exactly what it looks like on your website. So there we are. So this is the Social Society website.
Amazing.
Now, we need to go to the campaigns section. So if we go to this menu in the top right corner and find campaigns, click on that. And then, hey presto, letters with love. Amazing. Connecting with the most vulnerable in our society. Is that you?
That is me, actually, from a recent Zoom photo shoot for a blog.
Oh wow!
Very snazzy.
Okay, so people can read the information here. There's a nice little quote from you, and we scroll down. And send your letter with love today. Yes. Perfect. So this is what we're looking for. This button here is it. If we want to download the template.
Yes.
So if you go to the socialsociety.org.uk, then find the campaigns page. So you can write /campaigns, or you can find it in the menu. Scroll down and you can click on download your letter with love here, and you'll get the template. That's wonderful. Right. Let me stop sharing the screen so it stops doing that wacky matrix thing. Here we are again. Okay. Is there anything else that you would like to say to the people who are watching this in terms of what they could do to help you with this campaign?
I'd say tell as many people as possible, because, you know, ever since this sort of crisis, this pandemic, we've had an overwhelming amount of people get in touch saying, you know, I know Betty or Paul or Joe, or just in, you know, their local street that really are really isolated and without that support. So if you know of someone that would, you know, benefit from a letter, from a poem, from a little ditty, just spread the word. Really, we'd like to get handwritten letters out to as many people as possible, just to put a smile on their face. So yeah, share far and wide if people can. That'd be fantastic.
And just out of interest, because I'm curious, have you heard from anybody, any of the recipients of the letters?
Not yet. It's too early, I would say, in the day, but that's the plan. The plan is to sort of get to people to get back in touch, especially some of the local provisions that I'm dropping the letters at next week. I know that we will do that. We've had a couple of videos from people sending them. So we had a video from an 8-year-old girl that had drawn a rainbow and said, I'm doing this drawing because I miss my nana. I can't see my nana and I want to make all Nana smile. So we've had, but we're yet to receive the feedback, but I'm sure we will do, all in good time.
That's so nice. Right, I'm going to hand you over to Andy now, because he's been summarising all of this for us and ready to attach your ambition sheet to the wall. Andy, take it away.
Hello, Tony. Hi. Thank you. Sorry about being a disembodied voice talking over the text. You'll see me in a moment. But what I have written down is such a lovely idea. And I like the fact that you're recognising there's so many people who don't have access to the internet, those of us who are not on social media. It's a nice way of reaching out and being supportive in such an inclusive way. So let's see if I've got this right. Letters with love. I got that wrong to begin with. I wrote letters for love. It's letters with love, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
And you're inviting letters for those people who are isolated.
Yes.
It's a project to help connect people who don't have social media, really. And I've just made a note that it's being run by the Social Society, the lovely group that you founded. It would be nice to kind of just note that, really. In terms of the help you're looking for, it's more writers, isn't it? It's people who will be happy to write those letters up.
Yes.
And it's such a nice thing. You're writing slightly anonymously to somebody you don't know, but you're imagining.
Yeah.
But there's some nice guidance there, and you gave some lovely examples of how people have dealt and treated that. And the idea of someone receiving that letter is really quite a nice idea. And I've made a note, as Adam has shown as well, of the website, thesocialsociety.org.uk. And the important thing that you said, that you're happy to pick up letters and get them into the letterbox yourself.
Yes, absolutely.
Through in a nice, safe way, of course.
Of course, yes, absolutely.
Yes. Right, now, let me change the camera over to share with you our wall of ambition. And what I'd like to do is place this somewhere. Is that in camera? Yes, it is. Somewhere nice and prominent.
Brilliant.
And of course, what tends to happen when we're out there in the real world on the street. It's people who will just browse the wall, they'll have a read, and if they get inspired with some comments, then they can grab some post-its themselves. But in this case, I will stand here and be the scribe for that, and make any comments. So really, in this case, it's a direct action. But of course, if there's somebody who's not online, but you'd like to connect them through to Tony so that they can get letters written for her to pick up, then this is your first port of call. Or of course, go to the website and message her through the system yourselves. Brilliant. That's a great idea, Tony. It's a real pleasure to put it up on the wall.
Thank you.
Adam, are you there?
Yeah, you're waiting for me to jump in now, aren't you?
Yeah,
hello.
Only because I'm so used to you explaining to everybody how they can get in touch. But of course, I can do it as well if you like.
Well, there are 3 ways to do it, and it's really simple. All you have to do is you can click on the link that's right next to this Facebook video that you're watching, or maybe you're watching on YouTube. There'll be a link in the description. And if you click on this, you'll join me, you'll join Andy, and if you're quick, you might even join Tony. So you can share with her your enthusiasm to get involved, potentially. Or you can leave a comment underneath the video on Facebook or on YouTube, or you can get in touch with Agatha. So this number that's just appeared now at the bottom of your screen, if you send a WhatsApp message to that number, Agatha will pick it up and she'll send it to us. So, Tony, is there anything else you'd like to say that you will regret not saying?
Just get writing, people of Brighton and Hove, and anyone else further afield. Just get writing, and we can get them out there and connect with people. That's all, really.
Yeah, it's so wonderful. It's such a simple idea and really effective. And I just wondered, like, where was the inspiration in the first place? Like, what was that moment where you went, ding, that would be a really cool thing to do?
Honestly, it was a conversation I was having with my friend, because in true Tony style, I do a lot with the social society and I've got a lot going on at the moment. And I was racking my brains thinking, how can we connect with people that really aren't connected via social media? I know, let's do support packs, let's do this, let's do that. And I had a whole ream of things, and I was talking at my friend as per usual. Bless her, she was listening, but she was like, oh. And we talked it out, and she said, well, what about handwritten letters? It's a really simple, sort of easy way to connect with people. And I was like, wow. So we talked it through, we did a bit of brainstorming, came up with a letters with love, and it kind of just, so it's her, really. So thank you, Vanessa.
So thank you for telling us all about that. Let's take a couple of moments now with Andy to talk about what we all together have got lined up in, when is it? Okay. What's the date now? 24th. It's next Friday, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah, so we were talking with Tony, weren't we, Andy, about what we might be able to do together, because we do these events where it's open to everybody and we invite everybody to get involved. And then we thought it'd be really nice to work with a group of really cool people, really nice, friendly people who are also wanting to do some really cool stuff out in the community, volunteering their time and their skills. So we thought, why don't we do a joint event? And so we said,
we are a good
exactly. So me and Andy were thinking about who could we get in touch with that fits into the category of really nice people that we'd like to do one of these online events with. And we came up with 10 organizations. And then we thought, we're going to go with the Social Society. So yes, next week, the Social Society, you've already lined up a couple of people.
I have. Is that right? Yes, I have. I've got a feeling we're going to get more than the allocated slot as well, which is very good news, because who knows what will come of this, but
Okay, so the idea being that those people are going to come on just like you have now, share their own goals, ideas and ambitions. So you watching at home, you will be able to support them next Friday, 6:30 until 8:30. Is there anything I've missed, Andy?
Oh, just to say, for those of you who are watching at home who are not members of the Social Society, there's stuff in this for you. You may well find inspiration. You may find some of the requests, the ambitions are just what you would like to do as well. There may be some problems you'd like help solving, or some fun stuff that you'd like to get involved in. And of course, it's an incredible insight into what goes on in the Social Society. And you may well find that you want to join them. Who knows? Anyway, it's great. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, me too. Me too.
I think it's probably worth, Tony, just taking a moment to actually describe to people, because we keep on talking about the Social Society. Could you just give us a summary of what the Social Society is and does?
It's a hard one, isn't it? It's such a social society.
Can you do it as a limerick?
Oh, I haven't made one up today. I'll get on that next week. Let me have a think. But yeah, basically, we are a community of individuals. So we're a subscription-based community that shares time, skills, and expertise with charities when they need it most. We raise funds with our membership fees, so charities don't have to rely on sort of external government grants and resources. And we run events to connect people, to reduce isolation and loneliness. And we're a fabulous bunch.
Yes. Eloquently put, Tony.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And if people are intrigued and they're thinking, well, I think I might like to join in with that crew, what can they do?
They can go to the website, read a bit more, or just drop me an email, to be honest. I'm always chitter-chattering on email about the volunteer opportunities and, what skills they might want to share with the charity. So, yeah, just drop us an email. Happy to chat.
So can they get that through the website?
They absolutely can, yeah.
Wonderful. And to remind everybody what that is, it's thesocialsociety.org.uk.
That's the one, yeah.
Cracking. Yeah. Well, we've had a comment through from somebody called Michelle, who says, this is all so inspiring, really enjoying watching. So that's the kind of impact you're having, Tony.
Oh, amazing. Thanks, Michelle.
Yeah. Okay, lovely. Right, we can't wait to see you next week. If anybody gets in touch with us saying, because this Facebook Live video will still be available once we've ended the live broadcast, so people will watch it afterwards. So if more people get in touch saying, actually, I want to write one of these letters or anything else that might be helpful to you or the Social Society, then we'll pass it on. But in any case, we'll be seeing you next week for the Brighton and Hove Hope Exchange with the Social Society.
Amazing. Thanks, guys. See you next week.
Thank you. Thanks, Bye. Tony. Okay, we are entering the last quarter of an hour of the Brighton and Hope Exchange. Yes, I know. Hasn't it flown by?
Yes.
So we've got one more person to go.
Oh, great.
And I think we should speak to this person right now. Nick is ready and waiting. Good evening, Nick.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, hi, Nick.
Now, I've just glimpsed on your T-shirt the word bricks. Now, this gives us a bit of an idea of what you've come on to talk about tonight, right?
Yes, exactly. And I thought I had to sort of, no, trying to work out which way, yeah, that gives you a bit of a, so I run Brighton Bricks, which is sort of a, I was originally say an adult fan of Lego group in Brighton, but sort of through this whole virus, it's slightly become more than that now. It's sort of, I do workshops and events and sort of stuff. It's a social activity for basically both adults and kids, and even toddlers. We do Duplo as well, so we do everything. So
amazing. Okay, so if you were to sum up what your goal is right now, or your ambition for yourself or Brighton Bricks, then what would it be?
We have two at the moment. One which is a current one, and one which is once the lockdown is over. So the current one at the moment is we are doing, because we can no longer do workshops and stuff, we are doing, as I'm doing a daily Lego challenge every day with activity cards, which we're posting on social media and stuff. And one of the things what I want to try and do is encourage small businesses, charities to sort of sponsor, and not necessarily money sponsor, but to help promote these activity cards. So if a bakery wanted to be involved, the theme could be related to that. So it could be make Lego cakes or something like that out of Lego. And the idea also, it could be charities, it can be artists, it could be small businesses. So the part of the way is trying to use these activity cards as also to help people and help small businesses, again, charities, and to help publicize them and also get more people building Lego. Really, that's sort of my aim. So and then so the main aim as well is what we do. A lot of the stuff we do a lot of other, the main workshops we do is about adults and promoting how play particularly is really good for basically mental health, and it's a really good mental health well-being activity. It's also really good. One of the things we try and do a lot of events about social isolation, and which is probably quite appropriate also this time. We're trying to encourage people to kind of interact and stuff, meet, and Lego is a very good sort of icebreaker as well. So you don't have to be a master builder or stuff for some events. It's just, if you just want to stick a couple of bricks together. It's sort of about sort of people connecting together, really. And so yeah, so one of the things from that is we want more sort of people to help volunteer, so we can do more activities and more events. We used to do before the lockdown, we used to do a monthly thing at the library, once a month at the library, where again, anyone, so we just want, again, people to help spread the word, and particularly also people to help volunteer. More volunteers I got, more events we can do, and more people we can help, sort of thing.
Okay, so there may well be people watching this thinking, okay, sounds pretty intriguing. What would a volunteer actually do?
The main sort of what a volunteer would do is it's basically encouraging people to sort of play. And so again, you don't need to be a Lego master or anything like that. So again, I can probably provide some of the Lego and stuff like that. It's more about using Lego as a conversation piece, and just, you know, it is particularly some of these events. I also do ones with an older person's cafe in Hove, the Hop 50. And again, that is, you don't, it's all about sitting there talking to them, and if they want to build some Lego, they can. If you don't, you just want to chat to them. And it's doing that, and same with the library thing with that. It's about just talking. So it is, I mean, as long as you have the ability to stick two bits of Lego together, you have the technical ability to do it. And so it's more about the passion for interacting with people and helping people, really.
And why do you do it, Nick? You know, what's your motivation to actually do this?
Because I mean, for me personally, Lego really does help with my mental health, and so I know it's really good. And I think as we forget to play, as adults, we forget to play, and we do kind of very much become too serious, and we become very. And I think plays. This is one of the things I discovered as in my journey. I loved Lego as a kid, grew out of it, got back to it as an adult, and only as when I started Brighton Bricks, it was just purely as a social thing. And only by doing this, I realized how much stuff you can help people, and sort of, you know, you can sort of, and it's just through play. And it's one of the things where you can help people, and through, because you're playing and stuff like that, it's also quite good where people don't realize you're helping and improving yourself without realize. If you said someone do a mental health workshop, it's, oh no, serious. But if you told someone just to play with Lego for half an hour, that will have some that will help relax people, that will help people with anxiety or anything like that, and it will help. So it's sort of, you know, it's all little things which can help people, yeah. And that's what we want to do. That's what I've always been very much about, so I think.
And have you got any examples you could share of when you've taken your Lego to a group that you've been working with, and you've seen the impact it's had, that's made you think, yeah, this is a really fun, really useful and impactful thing to do?
I mean, yeah, I mean, one of the things, I do some work with a special needs school in Port Slade, and it's dealing with some of the children, and that's a sort of a more of a workshop proper, but it's only seeing the reaction to some of the children who have real issues, behavioral issues and stuff like that, begin with, you know, who are just literally first few weeks of going throwing it around the room, and by then suddenly, you know, weeks and weeks gone by, months, they actually are now actually starting to build things, and you know, and that it is one of the things where and again, that's sort of that, and it's a lot of the kind of, also we used to do summer events at the Pavilion Gardens last year in the summer, and again it was people coming along who were, and again it was both adults and children who, you know, and you get into also, because also people come along, you also creating, you know, relationships with people, and you're chatting to people, you're kind of, it is very much a social thing as well. And so it was becoming, so people a lot of other people came in there who also had, you know, anxiety issues and stuff like that. It is a way for them to kind of, again, interact with people. And it's also, what's good about some of Lego is you can be in a group with people, and if you are quite a shy person, you can just sit there, build Lego, and sort of still be involved, but don't feel like the pressure to have to talk. Unlike, so because you'd be busy building, really. So
well, that's the beauty of it, isn't it? It's so inclusive, because just about anybody can get involved in building Lego structures.
And this is what the beauty of I kind of it's, and there's so many different schools of thoughts with, I mean, I love following instructions of sets. You get people like, that I find that really relaxing, following instructions, seeing what it comes out like. But then you get people who just don't like that and like to build their own stuff. And that's the beauty of it. It's all of them work for whoever you are. And some people just like to just make random stuff. I mean, I like to doodle with it as well. Sometimes you can just get a whole bunch of bricks. And this is why I say it doesn't necessarily be about ability. You don't have to be a master builder or anything like that. As long as you can literally put, I mean, if you have 6 2x4 bricks, it's one of the stats I always give out in these workshops to do. It has something like 900 million combinations of these 6 2x4 bricks. That's how many different combinations you can have. And so because of that, you kind of think that's just 6 bricks. How many combinations you can have if you've got, hundreds of bricks? And so there's no, and I'm also going to believe as well with Lego as well, it's all about you, again, exploring your own imagination, exploring your own creativity. And, if you tell me what you're building is an elephant, it's an elephant. And if it doesn't look like an elephant, it is about what you feel, what you building, what you want it, and not worrying if it has to look perfect or it has to look like this. It can look whatever you want it to look like. So
wonderful. Now Agatha's got in touch and said someone's sent in a comment saying that Brighton Bricks is an amazing group and Nick does a fabulous job.
Thank you. I'll pay them wherever they were.
So I'm going to pass you over to Andy now. I could talk to you all day, Nick, and all night, but it's time we went over to Andy, who's been getting it down on paper what your ambition is. Andy.
It's such a simple idea, isn't it? Hello, Nick. Sorry about being a disembodied voice again. When this lockdown is over, I'm going to demand off of our finance department that we buy some Lego for the office. Right. Let's see. So there you are, running Brighton Bricks, and I've tried to summarize it as a Lego activities community project, because you talked about it, adult play, but it goes beyond adults, doesn't it? You talked about young people and so on. And the crucial bit
it's literally always
using this lovely idea of using play to help well-being, and in so many ways. Now, you talked about there's 2 kind of things going on here. Currently, a daily Lego challenge, and the help you're looking for is kind of help promoting this connected to local businesses. Now, you talked about a kind of non-financial sponsorship, really being able to link up with local bakers or whatever, or local butchers, or who knows what, local stores or whatever, and you'll happily create with them a themed challenge that will be branded with them, joint branded, as a way of connecting through and linking people together. It's a nice way of keeping things going, and also allows people to do stuff alone at home whilst being in contact and connected with others outside. We're talking a bit about what people might be able to do if they don't have Lego. But before we do that, the second longer term thing is to carry on with these events that you're doing for young and old and everyone. You mentioned the library, you mentioned workshops, and in order to help with that, your request for more help, basically anyone to volunteer, and the volunteer offer you're offering there is amazing. It's we'd like you to volunteer to play.
Yeah, I mean that simply is you get to play. I mean that's the beauty of it, and that's sort of, it's weird. Sometimes I'm calling this work when I kind of at times I think I'm actually just sitting around playing with Lego, and it's
That's great. And what I'm going to do is once again put your ambition up on the on our ambition wall, our wall of ambitions, which, as you know, normally we're out there in the public, people are browsing, wandering past. We have often have snacks, often provided by one of our funders, the local co-op community fund, and they get to nibble on cupcakes and so on and comment. And so, anyone who has any comments in there, they know, maybe someone who knows somebody who's running a business who'd really like to jump into this idea with you, and so on. It'd be great to be able to make those connections with you, or maybe some other ideas that perhaps you've not thought of, that you can just contemplate, either for now or even for when we all come out of lockdown, which of course I'm looking forward to. And of course, anyone who wants to get involved, there you are with a wonderful opportunity, especially when we come out of lockdown, to go in and play Lego with people, to do three-dimensional doodling in a wonderful way. It's such a nice thing to do. I kind of, commend it. Do you have any tips for anyone who doesn't have Lego?
There's a couple of things. I mean, there are some online things. There is in both. There is a like a CAD, a 3D drawing package you can get for Lego. You can create stuff for that. But there's also with you may know, Tabletop Simulator.
Yes.
So there is actually a Lego workshop, a Lego. I haven't used it yet, so I don't know if it's any good. So there is online stuff you can do. But I mean, theoretically, if you haven't got, you can still build with anything. I mean, it's sort of, even if you haven't got that cardboard, sticky black plastic, go the old Blue Peter route, whatever you have around the house. So I mean, it's sort of, obviously these are Lego challenges, but if someone submitted to me a photo and it's made out of cardboard, that's all part of it, because it's all about people joining in, and a lot of it also it's both for adults and also for kids, because there's lots of parents homeschooling, and obviously the idea it's an opportunity. A lot of these sort of challenges can also be quite potentially educational, or you can be using towards educational, so it can be and also a lot of them can be quite, I mean, with one of the recent ones I did was also there's a local graffiti street artist who's, I don't know if you've ever seen, if anyone has Brighton seen, in Trafalgar Lane, there's this really lovely piece of art. There's a rabbit, and it's got a sign saying, "It's okay not to be okay."
Yes.
It's amazing. It's a street artist is brilliant. Again, all the details are on my Facebook page and stuff like that. And again, we tried to do a challenge because that was such a I felt for me, that's a really inspiring message, especially at the moment. It is okay not to be okay. And I kind of felt, that's a part of the whole idea of the sponsor post as well. It's that sort of promoting other people, and sort of, this is the time now, especially when we can't connect to each other.
Yes.
Because we should be trying to connect as much as we can in the sort of the virtual world.
Nick, would you remind us of what your website is? Is it
brightonbricks.com, and we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, I think everything. Yeah.
Great. brightonbricks.com. There we go. That's a really good thing to help people link through direct to you if they don't want to make comments for us. But of course, if you do want to make comments through us, we'll be more than happy to not just share them with Nick, but also share them with other people who may be inspired by what Nick's doing or what other people are doing as part of our Wall of Ambitions. I think that's great. It's really lovely to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. So we've got a couple of minutes left. So if you can get in touch with anything that you want to share with Nick, if you want to volunteer with Brighton Bricks, then get in touch, and you can do so really, really, really quickly by leaving a comment underneath the video on Facebook here or on YouTube. Thanks a lot, Nick. We'll be in touch. There'll be people watching us back. So after we finish this live broadcast, the video will remain. So if anybody gets in touch, we'll be in touch with you.
That's cool. Thank you very much. Good night, everyone.
Stay safe. Take care.
Right, we've got to get some Lego. We've got to get some Lego for the office.
Yeah, I heard you requesting the financial department sorts it out. So we'll get on to them, shall we?
Yeah, I don't know how.
So before we do wrap up and disappear, I just want to relay a message we've had from Tara, who was on earlier, but unfortunately she had to go prematurely because the tech was playing up. But that's what you get when you have to do online events, because you're in lockdown. Yeah. So I'll just relay to you what Tara's said. She says, in fact, Andy, maybe it's a good idea to have a look at her ambition to tell people who weren't watching earlier.
Yeah, would you like me to zoom in on it?
Yeah, please.
Okay.
So Tara is somebody who we actually wrote a post about when was it, a week or so ago, and she shared her ambition in a post. So if you go to Ambigo's page and then scroll down, you'll see a full post written about it. But here's what Andy's written.
So Tara is running Friends for Friends. That's a little blurred, so I'm going to see if I can't get that a bit sharper for you.
That's better.
There we go. Is running Friends for Friends, a group supporting people with mental health challenges. and those people going through mental illness and those coming out of mental illness and you know, kind of rehabilitating. It started as a private Facebook group, but has expanded. And she's looking, of course, for more people to join in. Going through mental illness can be pretty isolating. It can be very an experience that feels very much alone. And if you know someone, or if you're going through that yourself, this is a lovely group of peer support, of people who you can be pretty assured will have a way in to understand what you're going through. There'll be empathy there, there'll be understanding. And by those sounds of it, from what she's shared with us, there's been some real support there. Some people who've been saved from suicide, who've actually found ways of reconnecting with themselves as well as with others. And of course, there is a request for funds, which we noted in the post that we helped put together with her a couple of weeks back. Adam, what else is Tara sharing with us?
Yeah, well, on that note, actually, she says, we urgently require our fundraiser to reach £10,000 because then we can register as a charity and with CQC and widen our support network. Okay. So it's a very basic ask. She's linking us. She wants to link us to her GoFundMe page. And she says that can be found in the Friends for Friends group. Every penny really does matter, she says. There's so much more she could have said, but the technology cut her conversation with us short. But that's not too much of an issue because we did get to speak to her for quite a little while. We wanted to speak to her for longer, but what I've done is I've commented underneath the Facebook post. So this Facebook video you're watching, if you make sure you're looking at the original post as opposed to a post in a group, if that's where you're finding us. If you go to that, look at the comments, and underneath you'll see I've written links to Tara's group, Friends for Friends. And so if you click on that, you'll go through to her Friends for Friends group, and you'll see the link to the GoFundMe page to get her up to £10,000 so they can register as a charity and have an impact on so many more lives. And who knows, maybe even save some more lives like she already has been doing. Okay, well, I think we're there, Andy. In fact, over time, because it's been jam-packed, hasn't it?
It has. It's a joy and a privilege to be able to do this. So thank you for getting involved. Thank you for putting in your ambitions. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for watching the repeat and continue to message us. We'll be more than happy to act as a bit of, you know, kind of connective grease, as it were, to help this kind of thing go on.
And we'll be back again next Friday. And in fact, we're going to make this a regular thing, aren't we, Andy? So you can expect us to be here 6:30 every Friday. So if you've watched this or at least part of it and you've gone, oh, I've got a goal, idea or ambition that I'd like to share, but you didn't get around to it today, well, that's okay, because you'll get chances in the future. So make sure you're watching us back on the Ambergo Facebook page or on YouTube or on Twitter. Next week, next Friday, 6:30 till 8:30. And we'll see you then. And we'll get you involved in one of these Brighton and Hove Hope Exchanges so you can get support for your goal, idea or ambition. Anything more to add, Andy?
No, just stay safe, everybody, and stay upbeat if you can, but it's okay to be not okay.
Fine words. Bye-bye, everyone.